guys, it's Cindy Leach, your polymer clay tutor. In today's PCT mini toot, I'm going to show you how to make some Sabertooth Tiger beads for making Caveman Jewelry. Now it's just coming up on Halloween pretty soon. And last year I made these really cool necklaces for my daughter and her boyfriend. They were cavemen, and when I saw their outfits, I knew they just had to have a saber-toothed tiger necklace made out of polymer clay. So I did that, but it was so last minute that I couldn't show you last year how they were made, so I thought I'd save them for this year. So anyways, here is the necklace here with the beads, and the really cool thing about polymer clay is that you can make it look like just about anything, and I have it look like ancient saber-toothed tiger teeth just pulled right out of the soil. They've got cracks and all kinds of rotted tooth areas, cracks and little pitted areas, and they just look really funky, and they're not near as hard to make as they might look like they are. So what you're going to need is a little bit of clay. Now I'm only going to make one tooth, so I'm just using a little bit of clay here, but if you're going to make a whole string of them, you're going to need to use more of it, but it's the same idea. Now this is some Ecru Premo clay I'm using for all of this, and this is Ecru. This is regular translucent. The regular has a little bit more of a yellowish tinge to it, which is perfect for making faux bone or teeth. And then this is a 50-50 mix of Premo Ecru and white. And you can see that I didn't really mix it that well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's kind of streaky. Now, all you need to do, I rolled these out at the thickest setting on my pass machine, but if you just rolled them out by hand, that would be fine too. And I'm just going to layer these pieces together. I've got the Ecru, then the translucent, then the lighter mix of Ecru. Then I'm just going to run it through at the thickest setting on my pass machine. And then I'm just going to rip it in half and stack it and run it through again. And I'm going to do this a couple of times, and basically what's happening is I'm creating a striped layered sheet of really fine striations going this way. Now you'll be able to see in one of these here, I'll be able to show you here. If you look at these teeth really close, you can see that there's really fine striations of color. And that's what we've done here with these layers. So we want those layers to be showing up down the whole length, and you can kind of see it here. It's a little hard to see, but you want that showing up the whole length of the tooth. So I'm just going to rip this into some smaller pieces like this, so that my tooth has this going through the whole length. Now that's probably a little too much clay, so I'll cut some of it off. It would be kind of too big of a tooth, but this will make me 2 teeth. And you can see there a lot easier where all of your different stripes are. So I'm just going to kind of roll this into a tooth kind of shape so that I've got my stripes happening the whole distance. And if these cracks happen in there, all the better, because then it'll really look like your tooth just has been sitting in the soil forever and wore right out. So I'm just going to kind of roll it, and then I'm going to make a point on one end. Now it's really important that you don't get this all twisted, because you don't want your bone wouldn't be twisted. So if you do get it, the patterning twisted in it at all, then what you do is you just kind of straighten it back out. Okay, so I'm getting a tooth shape. Here I have one baked up, and so I'm going to get it tapered. I'm also going to make it a little bit skinny, so it's a little bit flattened out, and I'm going to shape it like a tooth, like a saber tooth like that. Now at the top end, we have the part that goes into the mouth and attaches in, so we need to take some sort of tool and open it up here at this end. Now this happens to be cracking quite wonderfully. I'm going to leave that, because that's what an old tooth would look like. So I'm putting it fairly deep in there so that it had some sort of part attached to the mouth there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Also, I don't want any fingerprints because a saber-toothed tiger tooth would not have any fingerprints. I know that for sure. This is, of course, kind of a fantasy thing, so it doesn't have to be too perfect, but it doesn't have fingerprints. I know that. And then another thing you can do is you can take a sharp tool and just put the odd little poke mark in it, like a little pitted part, like maybe some little bug or something had gotten into the tooth. And then also just kind of drag your tool along and put a few little scratch marks and things in it. The more distressed this tooth looks, the better. Then what you're going to do is you're going to lay, now this one ended up a little bit bigger than the other, and that's fine. You're going to lay your teeth on a piece of cardstock in the oven and bake it for the full hour, because I'm using Premo clay here and I like to bake it at 275 for 1 hour with the tented thing over it. If you need more information on baking, I've got videos on that. Oh, I see a fingerprint there I don't want. Anyways, so I'm going to pop it in the oven and bake it, and then I'm going to end up with something like this. Now, the next stage is to turn it into a bead, and the way to do that is just use a hand drill, and I've got a little drill bit, just a regular wooden drill bit, attached to a pin vise it's called, and you can just hand drill it all the way through. Polymer clay is pretty soft. And I like to go right up here near the root and just drill right through until you get to the other side. Now I always let it just barely come through the other side. I can see that just coming through, and then I'm going to start from that other end so that it makes a nice clean hole. And then what we need to do is we need to distress this because it still looks, you know, just like a chunk of plastic actually. Oh yeah, and also before we continue, if there's any kind of rough spots or if you did end up with a fingerprint, a little piece of sandpaper and just clean that up and make sure it's nice and smooth so it just looks worn right out. So you clean it up, and then we're going to use some glazing medium to antique it. So I've got some, you can use any acrylic paint. I happen to have a really nice selection of higher end art paints. But, you know, a craft paint would be just fine. This is a raw umber, which is a really dark brown paint, acrylic paint. I'm going to put a little drop of this on my work table. Or I'm going to try to put a drop of it on my work table. Maybe I'll take the lid off. Haven't opened this up for a little while. It's getting a little thick. So there's a drop of that. And then I'm going to also use some black. And this happens to be golden fluid acrylic. This will be a little runnier. Should be anyways. And I'm going to mix it with glazing medium because it makes it, so it's getting low too. It makes it a little more fluid. You can work it longer and it just gives a really nice finish. You could just water down paint, but it won't be quite as nice as when you use a glazing medium. And this is golden acrylic glazing medium. And what I'm going to do is take the glazing medium and work the black and the brown paints right into these crevices and things. I'm going to work it right in, and at first you'll think you've completely ruined it. And that's pretty typical for most crafts. There's a stage where it kind of looks terrible and you think you've really done something wrong, and you just have to go a little further yet. Okay, so I'm working it right into all the cracks and the scratches and everything else. And then I'm going to wipe it back with a paper towel. You want to make sure to get it nice and dark in here, because it will have been spending all that time in the dirt, because it's been quite some time since there's been saber-toothed tigers around. All right, so I'm going to work that in and wipe it back with a paper towel. And look at how instantly old this is getting, right like that. And you can add a little more brown. You could use some little bit different color browns. You could use kind of amber kind of color if you wanted to as well. And then you've got this really great looking tooth. Now, as far as the design for stringing goes, I'm not going to be able to show you that today. But I used some jute string. Actually, this one's hemp, but I strung it up in a way. I looked online at whale tooth necklaces. They were made by Fijians a long, long time ago. So there's some really cool designs for inspiration for the way the teeth are all knotted together into a necklace. And I just made it long enough to tie around their necks. And it is a great prop. That is the greatest thing about polymer clay, I think, is that you can use it for all sorts of cool accessories, and it's a great costume thing to add to your costumes. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, do let us know. And also, if you've ever made a Halloween costume or a cosplay type accessory out of polymer clay, let us know in the comment section below. I bet you could give everybody some really neat ideas. And also, if you have suggestions for future videos like this or products you'd like me to test, leave those in the comment section as well. And don't forget, we have tons and tons of really great videos that will teach you all about polymer clay, so make sure to check those out. All right, we'll see you next time, and bye for now.